In the early 20th century, a political reform movement was acting to overthrow the Ottoman Empire's absolute monarchy and install a constitutional government in its place. This movement helped to bring in a multi-party democratic system, which was new for the country. In the late 20th century, the name of this movement had become a slang term in the UK, referring to rebellious, free-spirited teens. It was this slang term that became the topic for the hit single off Rod Stewart's 11th studio album, released in 1981, Tonight I'm Yours. The single started out as an instrumental project, with Stewart wanting to use the latest technological advancements of the era. Drummer Carmine Appice and pianists Dwayne Hitchings and Kevin Savagar are credited with composing this project. Quote, Rod was always trying to be on the cutting edge at that time, so we did drum machine stuff. Dwayne had just gotten a sequencer, so we started screwing around and came up with the chords and melodies. We presented it to Rod. This one was easy because we used the whole concept that we came up with. We just transferred it from the 8-track that Dwayne had going right onto the 24-track. We used the drum machine and everything. Once we gave Rod the music, he wrote the lyrics, said Appice. The only alteration to the instrumental track was the addition of hi-hat and cymbals by Appice. With Stewart's vocals and Linda Lewis's backing vocals put over top, the track was completed and soared to the number 5 spot on the Billboard Hot 100. In the 21st century, the song is perhaps most well known for featuring on the soundtrack for hit 2004 video game Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. Regardless of when you've heard this song, there's a good chance you don't know its name. What is it? Young Hearts? No. Young Hearts brackets Be Free Tonight? No. As previously mentioned, the song was named after a Turkish political group. That's right, Unmarketable Mayhem continues as we talk about Rod Stewart's Young Turks on Cover Me.
Young hearts be free tonight. Time is on your side. Don't let 'em put you down.
That's right, it's Cover Me, the only podcast that compares famous songs to their many cover versions to find out which one is on your side. I'm your host, The Snake, joined by my 10-pound co-host,
Alex Muhlenberger, I'm tiny again.
Alex. You're tiny once more. Woo!
Me.
How's it feel over there? How you doing?
To be 10 pounds? I'm
To be
just
10
blown away in
pounds.
the wind, man.
You gotta get some weights attached to you.
Yeah, hold me down. Need some sandbags.
Mm-hmm.
How is it over here?
How is it?
It's like, well, I mean, you were in town last week, so like, or 2 weeks ago, I guess, depending on how you count that.
100 years ago.
100 years ago, depending on how you count. And so it's mostly just been like a shockingly normal week after our extravaganza.
It was extravagant, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We were popping champagne bottles every day. You were working from home,
Yeah.
champagne drunk.
We saw that concert. That was cool.
We saw it. It was basically 2 concerts.
It was basically 2 concerts. It could have been 3, but we skipped the opener because we're
That's true,
bastards.
yeah. We briefly joined a band.
That was weird and unexpected.
That was a bit bizarre. And yeah, we lived life that we had ice cream, Alex.
We had ice cream. Yeah, craziest thing.
Craziest thing.
We had ice cream.
For somebody who doesn't tolerate lactose like you, like pretty wild.
Yeah.
We had to do a lot of convincing to get you to the ice cream. You're like, no,
Yeah, I'm like, no, I can't be in the same room as lactose. I can't stand it.
I can't stand that shit. We're like, come on, Alex. There's like other stuff in with the lactose.
Just don't trust it.
You like caramel.
Come on, it's okay.
Come on, Alex. Yeah, all that to say, last week exciting, this week normal. Alex, what's exciting about this week? A few different things. Everything about this week is exciting. We're talking about much dragged through the dirt on this show artist Rod Stewart.
Rod Stewart. Yeah, we haven't really been very kind to Rod Stewart up to now, but we've also been talking about his like post New Millennium covers usually.
Yeah.
But I do like Rod Stewart's stuff, like his older, kind of classic rock era stuff.
Mhm.
Some of his solo stuff, some of his stuff with the Faces, and this is even after that. Like he had hits with both of those, like solo and group hits in the early 70s, and this is like 81. So he's been active for a while at this point.
Yeah, 11th studio album, and I think that's 11th solo studio album is my understanding. So
yeah, and that's a lot.
that is a lot, and this is even I think pre Do You Think I'm Sexy, where people start to turn on him.
Do You Think I'm Sexy? I think was mid 70s.
Oh, was it actually?
I'm only saying that because I think I briefly looked it up, but now I'm Do you think I'm sexy? Do you think I'm sexy?
Oh, you're right.
I see
78.
80
This is post the
78.
world turning on
Yeah.
him. Yeah, all right.
So did they think he was sexy? I don't know.
I don't know. Well, they thought because I think his former producer or manager was spreading rumors that he had to get jizz pumped out of his stomach.
Right, there was that. I feel like there's a couple artists who've had that rumor, but this is one of the earliest versions.
He is the source of that. Like, this is who it was done to, and then it gets spread around and turned.
Yeah,
completely false.
and then
Total
next
fiction.
thing you know, people are saying it's an Einstein quote.
Yeah, it's Einstein was dogging on Rod Stewart, fucking. Before the kid was even born. Yeah. So yeah, Rod Stewart, not a stranger to be getting dragged through the mud for sure. But yeah, like you said, I like his stuff that isn't him post being successful, I guess. Because a lot of the shit we talk about is like some 2000s all covers that he's just like, well.
Yeah, he's like, I just felt like recording some cover songs one time. And it's like, these are fine. There was even one, we talked about a cover he did that I think we liked, but I don't remember what it was now.
Right. So the highest praise we've given Rod Stewart is like, oh, this one's
yeah, it's pretty decent.
fine.
And that was like in the 70s, I think. I couldn't remember what it was though.
Mm-hmm. Now, Alex, Young Turks, do you like this song?
Young Turks. I was actually a little worried because like I've obviously heard the song before and I'm generally familiar with it. I can sing along to the chorus. But I hadn't listened to it all that much, so I was a little worried, like, oh, is this just gonna, like, suck? But it's a pretty solid song.
Yeah. It's, for me, like, I think it came on, like, a Spotify Discover. Like, I had heard the song before, but then a couple years back, it was on, a Spotify Discover list. I was like, yo, this fucking slaps.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I've had it in pretty steady rotation since that day. But even researching it this week, I was like, oh no, like this is going to be bad. And then listening to it, I was like, wait, no, this is pretty sick.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and like, even, like, I kind of like the story, even though it's weirdly casual. He was like, yeah, I just wanted to, like, work with people who were doing, like, the new stuff. And that can be disastrous for 70s artists.
Oh, yeah.
And definitely was in a couple cases, but he seemed to actually be interested in finding, like, people who were making good stuff and writing a pretty amusing song around it.
Yeah.
That is also kind of several other songs mashed together.
Yeah, it definitely like draws on like similar influences. Like you said, like even the process of the song, which is just like, what if we used a drum machine? Because those are new and hip in 1981. And you've got a quote here from one of the guys who worked on it talking about the whole process. And it's got to be like, we talked recently about like 8 Miles High and shit where everybody's like fighting for credit. And everybody's like, well, I guess he wrote like 2 lines. Here's a quote from one of the pianist / synth guys, Dwayne Hitchings. He says, I put together the whole song at my house with Carmine's help and used an Oberheim OBX-A, Oberheim DMA sequencer, and the Oberheim DMX drum box. It was really one of the first one-man band setups. We took the whole setup in the studio and recorded straight to tape. I started the idea because Devo was real big in one of my favorite groups, thus the fast-pulsing synth groove. And of course, Rod did a great job. Got a bit of help with a nice instrumental line from Kevin Savagar also. Just like stoked
it's like actually
to be working with
credit.
people.
Like, yeah, we worked together and everyone contributed. It was pretty cool.
It was pretty great.
It even sounds like he's doing most of the work and is like, no, we all worked together. It was great.
Yeah, because he calls it like the first one-man band setup. He's like, well, yeah, I had this stuff and a little help from Carmine, and we had that, and then these things came together. It's I've never seen a description of making a song be like, yeah, so collaborative sounding.
Yeah, that's very nice. You love to hear it.
You love to hear it. Before we get into the nitty-gritty of this song, though, some news you don't love to hear. One Gordon Lightfoot died.
Yes. Very
Rip.
sad.
Check out our If You Could Read My Mind episode
from a couple years back.
Still great content. Probably twice as long as a regular episode is these days, but hey, check it out. Even worse news, if you can imagine, worse than losing a Canadian icon. There are now 3 episodes of Cover Me you cannot listen to on Spotify.
Oh, no.
Better Now, Halo, and a third one. Let me check my emails here. Have been taken down by new enemy of the podcast, Universal Music Group.
Universal Music Group, eh?
Yeah, dog. So we had a copyright claim for Better Now, Halo, and Mr. Brightside.
Oh, Mr. Brightside. Are those all guest episodes?
Though, just Halo, I don't think we had a guest.
Oh, okay.
No, I don't think we did.
No.
But better now we did, and so would Mr. Brightside. I've submitted a complaint saying, hey, this is covered under free use, I say with like half confidence and like pretty sure it's fair use. They say criticism commentary, and that's what we do here. We criticize and we commentate. So I think we're covered. And I've had other ones where it's a whole story, folks. The facts of the matter are these. UMG, now an enemy of the podcast. Spotify, getting close. And if you
on
want
the fucking edge, man.
on thin fucking ice. So if you guys want the full cover me experience, go to a different podcasting app. And honestly, you should just use a different podcasting app anyway. Spotify doesn't pay anyone, and none of the other podcasting apps do, but why are you paying Spotify to listen to free content that you can get elsewhere?
Yeah, I like to listen to songs on Spotify and then like leave that in its state and then jump over to other apps because I don't like for podcasts because I don't like, I like to go back to what I was listening to before, you know? So if I have a podcast in there, that interrupts that.
Yeah, it gets all fucky if there's a podcast in the
And then I can have like a separate podcast queue and separate music queue that I just go to whichever one I feel like listening to.
Yeah. Other bit of bad news, we're getting owned online by also by Spotify. So Spotify has been unwittingly releasing automated Q&As for each episode we've released since about late February.
Okay.
And so it just creates an automatic question that users can answer. And the question is just, what did you think about the show?
Okay.
And for our most recent one, Iris, some dude named Wendell wrote shot. Now, take a look at your keyboard, Alex. Find the O.
Okay.
Look one key to the left. You got it? Yeah.
It's a typo. You know what? Fair enough.
Fair enough? What the fuck, Alex?
Yeah, he can think his thoughts.
He can think his little fucking thoughts. Yeah. That's been my week, is just taking it from Spotify. But we're about to
That's feedback though.
It's
getting some feedback. It's not not the most constructive feedback.
I mean, yeah, if you put it on a spectrum, most to least, I know where it sits.
But, it's feedback.
It is feedback. We're about to give some feedback on the lyrical writing skills of Rod Stewart as we talk about these lyrics. So, like you said, draws influences from a lot of places, perhaps the most obvious being like Bruce Springsteen, Born to Run kind of energy.
It definitely has that like Americana runaway feeling. There's a little Young Americans in there too.
Yeah.
I thought of like Young Americans and Changes.
Changes, sure, yeah.
In terms of the songs that were matching together.
You can't tell. That makes sense because Rod Stewart British as well, right?
Yeah, exactly. So it's like Americana from this English, or I guess I should say British because I don't actually know.
I think they prefer Ukish.
Ukish?
United Kingdoms-ish.
Yeah, I don't know exactly where Rod Stewart's from. I forgot to look it up.
Yeah, he's from somewhere in the UK.
It says British, Scottish, and English ancestry. Born in London. Okay. But yeah, so it's that sort of almost outsider perspective on the thing. And it doesn't feel like blue collar rock, but it definitely is that kind of a story.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because I mean that the very construction of the song, which is like synth and drum machine based, kind of prevents it from having that Americana sound. But we'll get there. I was worried Turks was going to be like a racist term coming in this week.
A racist term. Yeah, you never know. Sometimes. I mean, it's not uncommon for like a shortened version of a nationality or an ethnicity word, like Turkish,
right? To
be like, ooh, don't say that one.
Yeah, don't say that one. It's there's definitely a lot of examples of that. And then I was worried because I was like, well, hang on, if Turks is a racial term, then why is there a group in Final Fantasy VII called the Turks?
And the Ukes, for that matter. Well, not Final Fantasy VII, but let's not worry about that.
Is the Ukes actually a racist term?
No. You just said Ukish.
But the Ukes, yeah. Oh, like Ukes in Crystal Chronicles.
Yeah, exactly.
Shout out to video games. Alex, let's get into these lyrics here.
Yeah, let's talk about these lyrics, actually.
Billy left his home with $1 in his pocket and a head full of dreams. He said, somehow, someway, it's got to get better than this. Patty packed her bags, left a note for her mama. She was just 17. There were tears in her eyes when she kissed her little sister goodbye.
Yeah, they're running away from home because they want to be together. I'd say it's a tale as old as time. I'm not sure it's as old as time, but like it's pretty classic at this point. Like I'm also thinking of like Here I Go Again, even though that's maybe not the most like. Just thinking of the music video mostly.
Oh yeah,
a little bit. Don't Stop Believing. You know?
Yeah. Oh yeah. You find your youth figures. It's just like a pent up youth story.
Yeah.
It's a story I would say, if not as old as time, at least as old as like 1902. when the young Turks were starting their political reform.
Yeah, sure. This is, I'm sure, what they were talking about mostly.
Yeah.
Is, young love.
Young love. Well, and somehow, some way, it's got to get better than this. I don't think they're specifically just chasing young love. I think they're chasing a better life, but together.
Right. Yeah, fair enough. So they're trying to go somewhere else. It doesn't really say where they're coming from.
No.
Like, again, thinking of like Fast Car or Born to Run,
or
where
Born to
it's
Run,
like we gotta get out of this small town.
Mm-hmm.
Or even, I mean, Come On Eileen, where it's like the opportunities here are limited. We need to go somewhere else. But the music video kind of suggests they're coming from a more urban place, but that might just be the video.
That might be the video. Yeah, the music video takes place in Los Angeles.
Yeah, and like Rod Stewart's from London, so like they're not hurting for opportunity necessarily in the location. It's just maybe a class issue or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, I think even like the use of like language like her mama and leaving with $1 in your pocket speaks to their class.
True.
Like linguistically and financially. Worth noting, she was just 17. We need like a sound effect for that whenever we see a 17-year-old woman in a song.
Yeah, that does seem to be a number that comes up a lot.
Yeah. The magic number for women, 17.
17. Yeah, so much.
It's a little fucking weird. Even like Stevie Nicks. Edge of 17. Yeah.
Edge of 17. Other songs. Hot Dog by Led Zeppelin.
Hot Dog. Summer in the City.
That's the one. That's the one that sprung into my mind anyway.
Okay,
but yeah.
17
comes up a lot.
17 comes up a lot. 17, the Thursday of years, just
Thursday of
just before 18, where like things get real.
Yeah.
But you start gearing up for it, I think. I don't know.
I mean, that's what these songs like to think.
It certainly is. Maybe that's what... who knows? Maybe that is the thing. But they're like, it's the cusp of something real, of adulthood.
Right, because you're not like officially an adult, but you're more or less old enough to feel like it, but not be considered it.
Yeah.
So you aren't taken seriously. So for a song like this, where it's about running away, because as we'll find later, they feel like they're not being, paid attention to.
Yeah, well, they feel like their life is no good here. Somehow, some way, it's got to be better than this. Yeah, we find out it's a matter of like also not being listened to. And yeah, there's also like sadness. Like Patty kisses her sister goodbye, and she's like, I'm sad.
It feels like it's imperative that they leave more so than like maybe they don't want to.
Yeah, it's very good word choice, imperative, because even throughout this song, there are songs like this where it's kind of like Come On Eileen, where the underlying theme is that you will end up like your parents and you cannot defeat the system. I find in this song, there isn't that undercut, even though like I would say there is a growth in maturity when we hit the final verse. Mm-hmm. It's not like to the detriment of our two main characters here, Billy and Patty. It's like a celebration that they went out and lived while they were young.
Well, they could. Yeah, because it does seem to be kind to them, even if things don't turn out that well. Yeah,
it'll turn out to be whatever maybe they were expecting. But yeah, it's very like it's a much brighter outlook on the youthful runaway than perhaps some songs are want to give.
Yeah, particularly, I mean, in this second verse.
Mm-hmm. Where they held each other tight. That's all, folks. They held each other tight as they drove on through the night. They were so excited. We got just one shot of life. Let's take it while we're still not afraid, because life is so brief and time is a thief when you're undecided. And like a fistful of sand, it can slip right through your hands.
Yeah, there's some metaphor in there for you. Actually, it's the simile. Fistful of sand, hard to hold on to.
There is both metaphor and simile here.
Ooh. Ooh.
Time is a thief.
Time is a thief.
Like
True.
a fistful of sand. So
Like
you got
a fistful
both.
of sand. It
Take
is
your
a thief,
pick.
and it's like a fistful of sand.
It's a
Only
buffet
when
of
you're-
literary techniques.
Oh, look at that. There's even rhymes
Oh my god.
in this song. Wow.
There is, yes. Tight night.
Tight night. Excited. Afraid.
Yeah, excited and afraid. Great rhyme. Shit.
Yeah, I do like the sort of mood of this one, because it feels like they're running at this point, right? They've left and they're like moving, they're running away, really. But it feels very, very active as well. And then it says like, time is a thief when you're undecided. So like they're trying to get this time. It talks about it being a fistful of sand too, which you can hold on to, but not for very long. So like they need to move, because if they don't, they'll miss out.
Yeah, exactly. So time is a thief when you're undecided. It's like, so you got to make decisions, because that is better than just waiting for things to happen.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the line about we got just one shot of life, let's take it while we're still not afraid, is like, if we get older, we're going to have more things to worry about. So now is the time. This was talked about in Bob O'Reilly, too. It's like, the opportunity is right now. Let's go for it now.
Yeah.
So yeah, there is a sense of like imperative. There's the immediacy in this and like tension. And I think it's interesting knowing that the instrumentals came first. Because it seems like, obviously, like Rod Stewart heard it, kind of read that, and is like, well, what is a situation that has this kind of pounding, driving, like, imperative behind it? So I think that's interesting songwriting or lyricism to go that way around.
I've always liked that, when it's like you just listen to the sounds and you're like, oh, this is what this makes me feel. Let's put some words to this. Like, I'm very impressed when that happens and it fits.
Yeah. And this
cool
does
thing.
fit.
Whether it's I need to write some words, or like, oh, I happen to have something prepared ahead of time
Yeah.
that works with this. That's cool.
Got to be hard to drive while you're holding each other tight, I'm going to say.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you could do like a one-hand thing, but I feel like holding each other tight usually doesn't mean
that's
hand
usually a
holding.
two-hander. But as we know, Billy goes on to be a truck driver, so like obviously he's very skilled.
Driving.
So this
he
is
knows
foreshadowing of that.
Yeah.
I think that kind of covers verse 2. You got to live while you're living, brother, friend, compadre. Young hearts be free tonight. Time is on your side. Don't let him put you down. Don't let him push you around. Don't ever let him change your point of view. Don't let him ever change your point of view, rather.
Yeah, so like you said, it's a little more positive. It's like encouraging people to try things.
Yeah, time is on your side. What a wild statement, especially right after time is a thief, and it can slip right through your hands.
But it is on your side now.
Yeah,
But
it's
it
like
will turn against you.
Yeah,
soon
it's another
enough,
thing of
so-
like, you have the time now, so do it now while time is on your side.
Mm-hmm. Very much in the sort of, what's the word? No, it's like the glorification of youth is what I'm trying to say.
Right.
Which also happens in a lot of rock and roll music.
For sure, yeah.
And this one feels like it's very nice about it, Like, I don't always fully agree with the mindset,
Yeah, but this is like, there's kind of two sides to youth, where it's like, you be young and dumb and do that. And there's the other side where it's like, as a young person, you get kind of pushed around by old folks a lot. And they tell you, oh, don't do this, don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can feel really boxed in. And so he's addressing the aspect of youth here that is looked down upon by people. And so he's saying, don't let him push you around. Don't let him put you down. You know what you're fucking doing. You're 17. You're at the cusp
Or at
of
very
adulthood
least,
here.
you
know?
like deserve to be able to make some mistakes.
Yeah, you deserve to be able to have your like point of view be accepted as valid.
Yeah, because you just have a different perspective. And maybe
Yeah.
that perspective will change, but it's still a valid perspective.
Exactly. So he's speaking to he's not speaking to like, the party up, crush beers all day because you're young, buddy. He's like saying, yo, you've got a vision, you've got an idea of what life should be, and don't let people try and take that from you.
Yeah, so it's very nice sentiment.
Yeah. Boom. But a plot twist. Verse 3, paradise was closed. So they headed for the coast in a blissful manner. They took a 2-room apartment that was jumping every night of the week. Happiness was found in each other's arms as expected. Yeah, Billy pierced his ears, drove a pickup like a lunatic. Ooh.
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 Yeah. So they didn't quite. I mean, paradise is closed in the sense that there is no paradise ever. Like
Yeah, so
the
whatever
one they're searching for
their
doesn't really
greatest
exist.
ideals were doesn't exist.
Yeah,
So they
we're
take the
starting to
next
turn.
best thing. They head for the coast, and in a blissful manner, they're still like they're undeterred by the news that paradise is closed. Right?
Yeah, they just find a different place to go, which in this case
Exactly.
is the coast, which I assume is San Francisco, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not 100%. I guess yeah, if it's in California, if it's in the Golden State, yeah, you're probably around San Fran.
Yeah.
But again, this is like if this was living on a prayer, this is like where it goes like, oh no, he's working a job at the docks. Life is hard, things suck. Whereas this song is like, well, okay, listen, the greatest thing out there isn't real, it doesn't exist. But we can still make something work here. They head for the coast in blissful manner. They get a 2-room apartment that was jumping every night of the week, which to me, Genius seems to think it implies them fucking, which, because of course, we'll find out they have a kid.
Sure.
But I assumed it was just like socially bustling.
That's to me. That's what jumping means to me.
Yeah.
As well. That's what I was thinking. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, probably both.
Yeah, I mean, they obviously fuck. Because
Yeah.
the next line, happiness was found in each other's arms, I imagine physically and emotionally. As
Yeah.
expected. Also a turn from like Brenda and Eddie of scenes from Italian restaurant fame.
Brenda and Eddie. Yes. I do like that as expected line too, because it kind of supports what you were saying before
Mhm.
about like they're right,
Yes.
like they are happy.
Mm-hmm.
Even if things don't go exactly as planned. Ultimately, like they've achieved a level of happiness here.
Yeah, there's so many songs about like young people go out, discover they don't love each other, like Fast Cars, like, oh, he's an alcoholic, actually he's just
Yeah.
like my shitty dad. Like, so for this song to be like, well, yeah, the happiness was found in each other as they expected because they're right. Like, yeah, that's almost crazy. That's almost so controversial and brave of Rod Stewart to say that.
Wow, Rod Stewart, incredible! Congratulations.
Beautiful.
It is nice though.
And even his description of what is basically a fucking like dead end job. He's like, Billy Pierce's ears drove a pickup like a lunatic. It's like,
Yeah, that's
hell yeah.
I think that's a job that he's driving the pickup as a job as opposed to like just.
It's like what, just doing
sense.
donuts in the park?
I don't know. Yeah, in a pickup. I don't know.
I assumed it was. I don't know. You're right, because reading it now, I'm like, well,
He doesn't like say like he works transporting goods and services. Just goods,
Yeah.
probably. But I don't know.
but I guess just because he's talking about the setup of their life here, they took a 2-room apartment. The apartment we know is socially bustling. Happiness was found in each other's arm. Well, what's Billy doing? He pierced his ears to keep himself rebellious, and he drives a pickup. And I just assume it's for some
Like
labor
work.
purpose. Because we already know he can drive, because...
I know. I'm thinking about it. I'm like in a place like for a person like Rod Stewart,
Mm-hmm.
who is from London.
Yeah.
What does a pickup truck represent? Because for
It's
us,
different from a lorry, for sure.
yeah, for us who grew up in southern Alberta, a pickup truck is just a pretty common thing for someone to have for no specific reason, usually.
Yeah.
Sometimes, you got to move stuff around or whatever. Helps people move. But it's more common, like, there's a lot of pickup trucks. So is it different in the 70s or the 80s? One, on the West Coast, and two, for a British
A
guy?
British guy.
I don't know. Like, does that represent labor?
Yeah, I think largely
or
when you
just-
think of people who need pickup trucks beyond Albertans who just need big vehicles, like, yeah, if you look at like the history of like music and Hollywood representations of these things, like a pickup is somebody working blue collar.
It makes
like-
sense.
Yeah. And it seems insane to mention, like, because he could say drove around town like a lunatic, or just so that him mentioning a pickup like is very specific. And I
just
think it is again to play into these blue collar. I assume it's for work.
He's got to be doing something, right?
Yeah,
Anyway, I think that makes sense.
I think that makes sense. Chorus, bridge, Young hearts be free tonight, time's on your side. Boom, verse 4. Billy wrote a letter back home to Patty's parents trying to explain. He said, we're both real sorry that it had to turn out this way, but there ain't no point in talking when there's nobody listening, so we just ran away. Patty gave birth to a 10-pound baby boy. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so clearly they're willing to, like, communicate with their parents, but they're like, we needed to do this. It's not, like, even a ton of animosity. We're just like, no one was listening, so we had to find an alternative. And they did. And she had a baby, and, like, it doesn't say, like, we sure wish we didn't have this baby. He's like, hey, yeah, by the way, your grandparents.
The full line is, Patty gave birth to a 10-pound baby boy. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's not like it's a sudden, like, oh, unplanned pregnancy or anything like that.
Yeah, it's exactly. Like, other songs would be like, Billy wrote a letter asking for money from Patty's parents. They had a kid and they were trying to divorce. Like, but that's not this song. This song's like, fuck it, young love wins. These two, yeah, they're having a kid. Yeah, Billy drives pickup trucks like a lunatic, whether recreationally or for a living. And they are doing it. They're living their version of life.
Yeah, and it almost, opening a channel of communication almost makes it sound like they're maybe trying to reopen, like, reestablish the relationship, right?
Yeah, because he's saying, like, hey, we're sorry that we had to do this, but also it had to be done.
And, like, here's something you might be interested in. Grandchildren.
You have grandchildren. I assume there's more to a letter than what's delivered here in the song to us. These are the key notes.
Also, 10-pound? It's a pretty big baby.
That's a big fucking
It's on the high side of average. I looked it up.
That's a big, meaty boy. So, a 10-pound baby boy, that speaks to, like, physical health.
It should, yeah.
If it was a 2-pound baby boy, we'd have concerns.
We would have concerns, yeah.
10 pounds.
Healthy baby boy.
Yeah, bingo bango. Also, what an insane line! Just like all of this is so like that, like poetry that like like the songs you've already mentioned, and then none of these other songs have a line that's just like, "Hey, so and so gave birth to a 10-pound baby boy."
Yeah,
yeah,
exciting. So it feels much more positive.
Yeah,
than some can be.
Absolutely, yeah. It's true. Like, there's no irony in the singing of Young Hearts Be Free Tonight, Time is on Your Side. He believes that. He presents a story in which that is true, while also not being, like, wholly unrealistic.
True. Like, there's still children. There's
the factors of birth, involved. Trying to have to find a place to live. I mean, the only unrealistic part now is finding a 2-room apartment at the age of 17.
Yeah. In San Francisco, maybe?
Yeah. Somewhere along the coast.
So that's the story.
Pretty fucking good lyrics, I think.
Yeah.
But what's it all sound like? Devo, baby.
Little Devo. Yeah, a lot of drums going on.
A lot of drums.
So yeah, synth too.
Mm-hmm. What great synths we have on here. So we whip in with drums and the synth.
Yeah, so there's a few of them. We got like a sequenced one that's kind of doing like a bass line, playing pretty fast.
Right.
And that plays through most of it. There's a lower synth as well. The bow bow bow.
Yeah, the like chord change ones.
It's not that low. I was thinking it was low, but it's not.
But it is like
lower than the higher one that's about.
Yeah,
to
that.
Yeah. There's kind of like two sides to that synth part.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good little melodies. That's always fun. Good little riffs. And those kind of play for a while. That's the intro.
Yeah, that's your intro.
There's some guitar too.
Yeah, a little bit of noodling up.
Just a little bit. And there's like a guitar that plays like notes slowly. Like not very much.
Right.
Bum bum ba ba. And then like waits a while. But sometimes plays along with the synth, sometimes doesn't.
Right. Yeah. Yes, that's your intro, is just laying down that this song's about cool synths.
Yeah. Not just cool synths. One other thing I'm about to mention, the beat,
Yes.
the rhythm, the driving beat. We talk
Who's
about
the
driving
beat?
beats a
Yes.
fair amount, but and generally we talk about how they give songs momentum, make you feel like
Mhm.
you're moving. And with the story in this one, there's a lot of moving forward.
Yes.
You know, you're running away. Literally, the point of the song, like, it feels like running.
Yes.
You know, they're running through youth and experiencing life,
Mm-hmm.
and the beat really sets a good, some good groundwork for that feeling.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, driving rhythm, there's at least 2 lines about driving in this song, so
So it fits.
it fits perfectly. We hit the verse, though, and the structure changes up a little bit. The synth mostly moves to doing kind of like big chords. These blow,
Mm-hmm.
blow, blow, blow.
Ba-ba-na-ba-na.
Yeah, that
Ba-ba-na,
fucking,
ba-na,
I don't know if
guitar
that's a
riff.
bass or if that's just like a lower guitar, but it's...
Yeah. Which is, it sounds familiar, but I couldn't place it. I couldn't remember what I was
It's-
thinking of.
It's definitely like blues-based.
Thinking of another like synthy thing. I can't think of what it is.
You think it Cover Me. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
I don't remember. It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. And a very like kind of talk singy performance from Rod Stewart at times.
At times, more like there's a later on bit that's kind of a transition, or maybe I'm thinking probably the bridge where it's like,
Young
Young
hearts, be free tonight. Yeah, for sure. There, I guess it's maybe just a little theater he does on lines like, "And life is so brief, and time is a thief."
Gotta emphasize those rhymes.
Yeah, because they're like internal rhymes, kind of, or external. They're rhymes.
Yeah, is that it? Is it?
Because
Is it- it's not
the
internal.
full line
Is it
is
internal
"Life is
rhyme?
so brief, and time is a thief when you're undecided."
Yeah. So does it count as?
I would
Internal?
say that's internal, but it's also the way he like breaks the phrasing up. His life is so brief, and time is a
Time is a
thief
thief.
when you're undecided.
Undecided. Da-da-da-da.
So I could see it being argued either way.
Yeah. In any case, he does that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
He's telling a story. He's a storyteller.
he's a story. He's crafting a story for us here.
He's a story right.
And then we hit the chorus.
Yeah, so I didn't mention this before, but there's a
Mhm.
transition. Actually, because there's 2 verses, right?
That's correct.
So there's a little transition between them that like has this twinkly synth that plays, and it's kind of teasing the chorus because it
The
comes
chorus.
back now.
Yeah, that twinkly synth fucking
Yeah.
rocks.
That's a good one. That plays throughout the chorus, and then of course you got the back of vocals.
That's right.
Gotta love them. Or not. But I like them.
Yeah, and then of course it's like a call and response with that synth because it's the rundown for the start, and then at the end of the lines it's it's a cool fucking line.
The other thing, this is kind of part of the rhythm. There's like a like muted guitar sound tick, 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 tick,
Yep,
going on there. It's somewhat in the background, but it's there.
it's there.
I heard it.
Yeah, you can hear a little bit of it.
There's also an EP. I think it's an electric piano or something, like an organ or something.
Yeah, there are pianos credited on this.
It's very like bouncy.
Yeah, electric piano, in fact. Yeah, it is.
Trying to
bouncy.
find it. I
It's
lost it.
in the chorus.
I think so. I might have put that note in the wrong place though. No, yeah, it is. Kind of like ba-da ba-da. It's early on. If you go to like 1:15, I think.
Okay, let me take a look here.
I think it plays more later on as well, but
Oh, boom, 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 boom. Yeah.
that might be actually strings. But I swear there's an EP.
There's
in there
a
somewhere.
clavinet in here as well.
It's clavinet. That's it.
That would be the one.
It's clavinet.
Clavinet. Yeah, sick. So the first half of the chorus is big, and then we kind of go back to a similar verse structure for the "Don't let him tear you down, don't let him push you around."
Yeah, that part almost feels separate. Like maybe it's a post-chorus or
like a refrain.
Or refrain.
One
yeah,
of
it's
these
a little
other
separate.
repeat things.
Yeah. But you say repetitively.
You're right, because when I think chorus, I do think big, right? And this one is actually, like, it breaks off from the chorus to get smaller.
Yeah, moving
But
us back into
It
the
does
next
that
bit.
so that we can have the big instrumental bridge there. That
Yeah, that's very nice. I have a note about... Yeah, there's a bit of a transitional bit there, too. And like you said, it has that synth line, and then you also get that clavinet playing. Bouncy,
kicking a
bouncy
kind of bass
clavinet.
line. This bum bum bana bum bum bana dun dun dana dun dun dana.
Yeah, so that's... and that's a good little transition back into... Now it goes back into another verse.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's pretty similar.
It's
this
pretty
verse.
similar because we're working with what was basically a demo track here, right? So
True, that's always fun.
That
We
is
just did
fun.
the demo. Oh, okay. It worked.
So yeah, it plays mostly the
Solid
same.
demo.
We get more storytelling from Rod Stewart. We hear about Billy being a lunatic. Yeah.
Yeah, so another verse, another chorus. Kind of the same thing, right? Like,
Yeah.
that's all I heard. Although, at the end of this chorus, he says, "Come on, babe,"
I thought he said, "Come on, Billy."
according to the lyrics, but it really does sound like he says, "Come on, Bill," or Billy, which of
Come
course
on,
is
Billy.
the main character's
This is the main character.
name. So it really sounds more like "Come on, Bill."
Yeah, so I assumed that the guitar solo was in some way meant to represent Billy.
No, it's Billy. This is Billy, like, living,
Yeah.
doing the melody.
Yeah.
Which is kind of what the solo is. It's the melody. I like the guitar sound on it, though. It's nice and nice rounded sound.
Yeah.
Feels like they really got that filter kind of on the edge of where you make it sound like this. I don't know. When I play around with filters, it often sounds like this, and I like how that sounds.
Yeah, it plays well with the synth and everything too, right?
Mhm.
Like it's well adjusted to its environment. It's adapted to its environment, like a domestic
adapted to
pig
its
led into the
surroundings.
wild.
Yeah, or a dick.
Yeah, classic dick behavior.
Yeah. Well adapted to its surroundings. All right, what's the next bit?
This
It's a
sort of
bridge.
like breakdown, like chorus, which is the bridge.
Yeah, which is a bridge / breakdown thing to bring us back into the next verse.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's like he says, like, "Young hearts, be free."
Be free tonight, and the background is. So you get the backings of Linda Lewis, I believe.
Then, yep, that's the backup vocalist. There's that twinkly synth back, so we get some of those synth lines back.
Yeah.
It's just like a slow chorus, basically.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, also it kind of verifies your theory of the chorus and that refrain part being two different bits.
Because this doesn't do it here.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. That's the trick, is there's no rules and you can put things wherever
There's
you want.
no
But it
rules.
kind of follows convention.
And one of the conventions is breaking the rules.
Breaking the rules. That's
Like
rock and roll.
rock and
brother.
roll, man.
Speaking of rock and roll,
Let's do 2 minutes of outro. Is that the
this
next?
is 2 minutes of outro. Yeah.
No, there's a verse and then there's.
There is a verse. There's another verse. That's the Letter Back Home verse. And then
Yeah.
we play us out on the chorus. Lots of sounds happening. Talk about gotta be free, living
Mhm.
free, time being on your side, all that. And we can dance a bit to our...
Yeah,
to
Patty
our
gave birth to a 10-pound baby boy. Yeah!
Yeah. See, actually, I'm trying to remember how excited he is about that.
He's very excited.
Okay.
Go to like 3:35.
10-pound baby boy. Yeah! All right, he is excited. Okay, good. Because you
No,
never know with some, because like they put the yeah in the
It's like
lyrics.
a depressed, yeah.
And you never, it could be. Well, there's a like track on Made in Heaven,
Mhm.
which is Queen's last album, the second posthumous album for Freddie Mercury.
Right.
And there's one song, it's like 2 seconds long. It's just like, yeah,
Right, and that's not quite the same yeah here. You're correct.
yeah. This is an exciting.
It also could just be the kind of yeah that's like more in reference to the instruments happening, where it's like, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, or like, I mean, I guess the other would be like a Jim Morrison, like
Yeah, something like that.
something like that, where it's not that excited sounding.
Right. So worth verifying. But yes, he's excited about Patty having a 10-pound baby boy.
I mean, congratulations, Patty.
Congratulations.
We'll talk about Patty some more.
Patty and Billy. Yeah, they're coming up soon here.
Yeah.
But yeah, it really is just outro after this point. We fade out.
Outro for a while, and like you get that, you want to move, you know? The song
he does like
move.
the ad-libbing too. Time is on your side, is on your side.
It's on your side, time.
And that rocks too.
Yeah, we basically just having a good time.
Yeah, and like you've mentioned, great for dancing to.
Absolutely. I feel like I don't hear this song in dances enough. Like, should this be like a wedding song?
Yeah.
I feel like I haven't heard it at weddings, and I was at 2 weddings last year.
That's
and
right.
You were also at those weddings.
I was also, not a single one played Young Turks.
Yeah, not that I remember anyway,
No,
but I feel like
I would have remembered that, because it feels like an odd one to play. This is like your, what is it, Hazy Shade of Winter being a Halloween song thing.
Yeah.
I think, Young Turks should be on your next wedding playlist.
A wedding song. I'll tell my brother.
Yeah, get it in there.
That's the next wedding I have scheduled to go to.
Got scheduled. Make it happen. Do like Jean-Luc Picard and make it fucking so.
Make it so.
Make it so.
And engage. That already happened like a year ago.
That already happened, unfortunately. But what also happened in the past is the music video for this song.
Yes.
Directed by a kind of a big name director. Russell Mulcahy, an Australian film director behind the hit film Highlander.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
I missed that trivia.
Also Resident Evil Extinction and like some other films, but
Extinction, okay.
Specifically, but
was that an animated one?
I feel like it must be because it's usually
it's not.
Oh, it's not.
It's not. It's usually Paul W.S. Anderson, so I was surprised.
He's the writer on that one by the looks of it.
He's still involved.
Because, it's usually the husband-wife duo, Paul W.S. Anderson.
He was still involved.
Millie Jovovich.
Didn't want to do shooting in the desert or something.
Fair enough. It's like, I'll just write on this one. Yeah, dog. So, directed by the director of Highlander and other hit films. Produced by...
We'll talk about other hit films soon enough.
Yeah, soon enough. Choreographed by Kenny Ortega, because there's a lot of dancing in this.
There is, yeah. They have it's like West Side Story style, dancing, kind of fight dancing at one point, but not really.
100%.
But it is.
So Kenny Ortega directed Newsies, Hocus Pocus, The Cheetah Girls 2, and High School Musical, along with Michael Jackson's This Is It. He was also a choreographer in Ferris Bueller's Day Off, among others. He's done concert choreography for Cher, Miley Cyrus, and Michael Jackson, among some other characters. So this is big in terms of who is making this music video.
Yeah, even if they're not big yet, they're prominent. They rise to some level of prominence in the industry.
And this is the first music video on MTV to feature breakdancing,
which is wild to think about. It's also only 1981.
Yes.
So this is still pretty early in the MTV era.
Yes. This is as early as it gets.
But it's a pretty comprehensive video for that, I think.
Yeah, it has a solid concept. We talk about music videos made in the past 20 years that don't have the beginning, middle, end that this fucking music video has.
Yeah. And it has the story. I mean, it also has a very soft focus on
yes.
All the lights are so bloomy.
To the point where you can't tell what time of day it is.
That's true.
I'm the lights are on, so it's night, but also it looks like the middle of the fucking day.
Yeah, it's a little weird, and everything's kind of gloomy.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe that's just the lens or whatever.
Yeah, that could be just the LA fog too.
Yeah, the smog.
The smog.
That was, I think, a bigger deal in the past. Maybe it still is. I don't know. But yeah, so I mean, it's you see them run away, right? You see Billy climb out of this fire escape.
Yep.
Onto the street. He's wearing his tank top, his undershirt, whatever.
Yeah.
He meets up with Patty
on the side of a bridge.
On the side of a bridge, they hug, and then there's dancers. Okay, first we got to talk about Patty. I looked up Patty. She's played by E.G. Daily.
Yes.
who's known for a lot of roles. Like, first of all, Baby Doll in Streets of Fire.
Okay. Yeah.
So she's one of the main characters in Streets of Fire. She's the voice of Tommy Pickles.
What?
In Rugrats, Buttercup and Powerpuff Girls. The voice of Babe in Babe, Pig in the City. And for more video games, Hinoka in Fire Emblem Fates.
Oh, no way.
So she's, an actor. Also has done a bunch of music recording as well of her own that I don't think has ever been super popular. She might have been on The Voice or something. Am I remembering this right? Yeah, she was on The Voice for one season. So she's, she's been in the business. She's in other movies. She's in a lot of Rob Zombie films.
Good for her. She's out there working, making her money.
Yeah. The movie Valley Girl.
Well, I'll have you know, and this is a weird fact, but the dude, Dale Pauly, who plays Billy, featured not only in Rod Stewart's Young Turks in the year 1981, he also played the role of Fat Guy in Olivia Newton-John's Physical in 1981.
Oh my gosh. I wonder if he just gained a lot of weight. No, because this was also 1981.
Yeah, so it must have been...
he must have been in a suit, right?
In a suit. Yeah,
I actually haven't seen that music video.
Nor have I. That's two very different careers. Congratulations to E.G. Daily.
Yeah.
But yeah, she gets
Elizabeth
picked up by
Daily.
Fat Guy from Olivia Newton-John's Physical, and he piggybacks her into the streets where these roving dancers start to dance down.
Yeah, and they're like a roving gang
Yeah.
who I thought was just going to be background dancers and not be part of the actual story. But in the next scene, they're at a burrito street burrito corner
street
place.
burrito place, yeah.
And then they start to give them kind of antagonize them a bit.
Yeah, or
and then Billy kind of runs after to fight one of them, and then he stops.
Oh, is it a fight? I thought they were telling him to come chase the dream. I thought it was a...
Maybe. I kind of thought that it was a dance fight briefly. Because he kind of...
Yeah.
But maybe he's we gotta... It makes more sense that he's trying to run after them and only stops because the thing says, don't walk.
The thing says, don't walk. So first, an old man winks at them at the burrito joint.
Oh, because they do run after. So, you know what? I think you're right. I think they're hey, let's dance together.
Yeah, so yeah, these dancers walk
so it's
by.
Not a fight.
They just tap him on the arm and then they run away. It doesn't look like he's hey, you can't touch me.
He looked a little upset.
Yeah,
when
and Patty
on his
is
face.
pulling him back when he runs out there. She's like, no, we have to...
But she might just be trying to stop him from crossing the street when it says don't walk.
That's
dangerous,
right. Also, she might not be finished her burrito.
Also, they cross the street before it says walk because that light behind them is green.
Yeah, and I think that's part of it, is that the people
they're
of the dancing
fuck it, let's
group,
take risks.
Exactly. They're in the middle of the street, and they're like, well, we're not waiting for you. And they're like, oh, shit. We got to chase the youth to this parking lot.
True, that's part of the fleeting youth that they must chase.
And this is the breakdancing, correct? This guy on top of the parking booth?
It must be. Because I didn't see Yeah,
you're thinking of the classic windmill, yeah.
But I guess so.
I guess so.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's very tame by my understanding of breakdancing, but hey.
But it's strictly speaking breakdancing.
It is breakdancing. So we get people dancing on cars. We get our first introduction of Rod Stewart singing into a microphone outside.
Yeah, so a lot of the rest of it is now the band with Rod Stewart.
Yeah.
Performing in this parking lot. And also scenes of Billy and Patty.
Yeah, they go to this hotel to get a room.
Which is probably not fiscally responsible, but hey.
Yeah, it was 1981. It was different, dog.
Yeah.
You didn't have to put down a credit card in your name. You could defraud people pretty easily.
You see him arguing with a guy at one point, which is maybe his boss at his truck driving job.
I thought that was the hotel landlord.
There's a hotel guy, because when they go into the hotel, there's a guy smoking a cigarette with a really deep V who's hey, in the room.
Yeah, he looks
a different guy.
Like he's from a porn set. He's like, hey.
He does. We were fresh off the 70s. And then it cuts outside, and then he's Billy's arguing with a different guy.
Okay, well, first he gets his ear pierced.
Oh, does he?
Yeah. So he gets the keys from this dude. Rod Stewart sings a bit. Boom, ear piercing.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that
Patty
is an
does
ear
it for
piercing.
him. What a
Patty
sweet,
does
tender
it.
moment.
Yeah. You just
Oh,
need,
yeah,
like, a
here he is already.
lemon and-
That must be his boss. Who's probably
Yeah,
like, you
or
drive like a
whatever.
fucking lunatic. He's like, I don't need
in that
this.
pickup. So yeah, it's like a bunch of kids having fun, and also like it cuts between that and like life happening. So it fits the song.
Yeah, it fits. And they eventually, we even see the postman drop off the letter to Patty's parents.
Yeah, and they read it. Oh, and that guy is, I guess, breakdancing as a silhouette.
Yeah. We get this like split screen shots of them hanging out in this rail yard too, where it'll be like close ups of the band and then people like hanging out in train cars and breakdancing. We see the breakdancing guy breakdance like over the sunset.
Yep. But again, the lighting is weird.
Yeah.
Or maybe they just didn't want to care about the lighting, so they filmed like throughout the day and stuck the shots together however they felt like.
Yeah, or maybe somebody just forgot to like de-smudge the camera or something because it's just some crap on the lens.
It does look like that. They're also like, it shows Billy and, oh, never mind. I was going to say they're both in overalls because they're working class now, just like in Come On Eileen, but I think she's actually not in overalls.
Okay, but he's in a
hard to
black tank top now. So
Oh, you know what? He's in a black tank. He's not in overalls either. It's just really, really soft focus.
That's right. We do get a fun shot of them holding the camera and spinning it around at night. That's pretty fun.
Yep, you can see the lights in the background. Very active shot.
Yeah, dog.
But yeah, it tells their story.
It tells the story.
Shows them opening the letter. Shows the parents opening the letter, and then
Yeah.
it's mostly the band from there.
Yeah.
Like for
And
the
people
outro
dancing,
and like
yeah.
dancing. People are watching out a window and like, the youth being free
Being
and
free
dancing
tonight.
in the
Yeah.
streets.
No, it fully encapsulates every aspect of the song. It's got some pretty solid dancing in it, even though some of it might be tame.
There's also a bit where it shows Rod Stewart spin twice, but it's just like repeated,
Oh, nice.
like just after 4 minutes. So he's like spin, and then it cuts back to him being before the spin. He spins
Right.
again.
They tried to get him to spin twice in a row, and he couldn't do it.
It's like, no, sorry, it's messing up my hair too much.
But that's this original song, Alex. We got to talk about some cover versions.
Oh, we sure do.
We got to start with a name that I thought was going to be a lot hornier than it is. Sexton Blake in 2007.
Sexton Blake. Yes, named after a comic book character, a comic strip character,
Yeah,
actually.
a fictional detective featured in many British comic strips.
And there was a movie, I think, that they're specifically named after.
That's correct. You're right. It's
TV series.
Yeah, specifically based off the TV series. Because if you go to their page, they're a rock band from Portland, Oregon.
Mhm.
And I was surprised by that because this honestly sounds like another one-man band sitch.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's 2007, like indie rock pop thing. So I feel like
Yeah.
it's a lot of like synthesizers and like lo-fi sound. And
This does have the
stuff like that.
feeling of that same like filter of the music video we just watched, but translated into sound.
to music.
Yeah.
It does, yeah. It feels like that for sure. Very like soft, and things like are constantly breaking up.
Yeah. Yeah, there's like a bit of just like static or fuzz, kind of soft fuzz at the edges of this song.
Of everything, yeah, and sometimes a little bit heavier fuzz.
Yeah.
So they got that lo-fi thing going on. I mean, like the synth really sounds like it's at least coming through a cheap speaker of some kind.
Yes.
But yeah, it's that same synth line. There's a guitar in the background. That like it's constantly breaking up, but it's really just playing like da 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 like chords.
Yeah.
There's even like a Mellotron type sound. I don't know if it's a Mellotron specifically, but it's this like really strained Mellotron sound. It sounds like someone like beat up the tapes in a Mellotron. And
Yeah, it sounds like that. It does sound like
it's
warped.
like 2 minutes in.
Like it's coming out of an old CRT.
Somehow, it's a CRT producing a sound.
Yeah. All this
Not
to
that they don't
say,
have speakers, but-
like, and like a very like sort of like new wave style and that like detachment style of singing.
Yeah.
Headed for the coast. It was
Even like, I mean, in 2007, I feel like it's not even that out of place in terms of like indie rock.
It's very much of that era of indie rock. Yeah, it appeals to my senses though.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's a cool. I like those like lo-fi, tapey, kind of crappy sounds.
Yeah.
And like very simple arrangement. Otherwise, the guitar is just strumming chords.
Yeah.
And they put the riff in so it's recognizable, but other than that, it's like pretty straightforward.
Yeah. And there was a part of me that was like, you can probably cut this short after the first like verse chorus section, but then verse 2 comes in with that fucking banger synth. And that thing rocks.
Yeah, that's the Mellotron.
That's the Mellotron, yeah.
The really like strange sound. So there's some cool sounds in this.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's actually a Mellotron, like I said, but it reminds
maybe
me.
like
it's very tapey. It's like
it's
tape
very
plus
tapey.
synth, and tape plus synth to me is Mellotron.
That checks out to me. There's like the vibe of this one, whereas the original is so positive. This is like, I don't know. It's kind of like burnout energy, like, and like we said, that kind of energy of like seeing this positivity without maybe necessarily like experiencing it yourself. It's like one step removed from the good times of this beautiful young heart's life.
Like that's the fantasy, but you're not quite actually experiencing it.
And you're high on opiates inside a surf shop from 1990.
Yeah, and like you definitely took some pills.
Yeah.
Of some kind.
Yeah. Yeah, it was that era of pills where you're like, I don't know, they're pills.
I don't know, man. Look, it's a capsule.
Are these uppers
red,
or
downers?
It's red, so it's fast. Good, yeah, I need this to work quickly.
Yeah. So
yeah,
a lot more synth. A
lot more synth. A lot of little weirdo synth sound effects come in. It's like boom, 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 boom.
Weirdo synth. That's a direct quote from my notes somehow.
Hey, I have that as well.
Especially in the final verse. Yeah, like final verse, they really kind of build out the soundscape.
Yeah.
Synth sounds. Like boo kind of sounds like.
It like somebody's working some kind of machine in the back, and they're like, "Oh, I gotta fucking tune this right."
Yeah, that's the blue collar aspect. Is they're working a machine in the back.
Yeah, that's instead of driving a pickup truck, they're driving the pickups on their guitar.
There you go. Still a pickup. Is that somehow a reference in the original? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Because he never like plays. Oh my gosh, he never plays guitar in the song, but I feel like. You could do that. You could totally
you could
say
definitely
drove a pickup, but you're talking about playing like ripping guitar. But you could also be talking about driving a truck.
Yeah, for sure. You would need
put that one in the idea bucket.
Yeah, chuck that in when we do our own cover of Young Turks. We'll pull that one out.
That's actually about rock and roll, baby.
That's right.
Yeah, but it's cool. Like pretty decent, like indie rock sound of this time. Lots of cool synths that are all a bit fucked up intentionally.
Yeah.
Yeah. So right on.
Yeah, working with that idea of like what's the tech of the time, which was like the original's baseline was like how do we use drum machines? This one's like, well, how do we update that for 2007?
Yeah. So it's cool.
It's cool, yeah. It's a good sound. I like it. Let's talk about somebody we've talked about many moons ago.
Twice,
in fact. Pieter Embrechts and the New Radio Kings in 2010.
Young hearts, be free tonight. Time is on your side. Don't let them put you down. Don't let them push you around.
Yeah, we talked about them for The Best of You. And we talked about them for Every Little Thing She Does Is Magic.
Every Little Thing She Does Is Magic.
Which are both off just this album, because they've only done one album.
And
so they kind of have a thing.
Right, because Pieter Embrechts he's a guy who gets around. Similar to E.G. Daily, he's got some credits to his name.
Yeah, he's like an actor and like maybe a presenter.
A TV presenter as well, yeah. So he's a big deal where he's from.
I still have it in Dutch, and Dutch is such a strange language to read as an English speaker.
Yeah?
Man, it's just like we put so many vowels together, you don't even know.
Yeah, you're like, I don't know how to break this up into
This is it looks very silly. I'm not saying it's a silly language, but certainly it looks like it is.
Yeah, certainly when viewed through the lens of English.
And you're like, they just said ook. Anyway.
Yeah, so we talked about this guy before. He's big into he's one of these Americana bands, but rather than being country Americana, it is like swing era.
Yeah, like swing, like big band jazz.
Crooner, yeah, that era. And this is what he does.
Yeah, so I mean, this is really very similar to the other ones. I actually looked at my The Best of You notes, and there were some similar things like he slows it down near the end for like a breakdown.
Okay, right.
Like so there's similar things structurally that they do. And like fair enough. I mean, this is all in the same album. They were mostly just having a good time. And it's a good time. And he's a good singer. The band's pretty, the band's good.
Yeah, they do some fun tricks.
Thing.
And they're fun like backing vocals.
Yeah. Yes, the backing vocals are fun. Right. They like say some funny like.
Yeah, there's like some little extra. So they echo certain lines where they'll be like, "Time is a thief" or whatever, and then there's some other little. I thought I had written one down here. That's right. They say after one of the lines, so it's shit like that, like 1950s hype man.
Yeah, they're like supporting.
Yeah.
And not just like repeating.
Exactly. Now, worth noting, this album we're talking about is actually named after one of the lines from this song. It's called "Time Is a Thief."
That's true. I didn't notice that actually.
I did because I'm very
Time
clever.
Is a Thief. So I mean, we'll probably cover every song on this album at some point.
At some point, it seems like we're getting there slowly.
I don't even know all these songs.
No, I don't. I know a few, but not all of them. So we open with like a sort of staccato rhythm, both on the drums and on like a guitar or a strange bass.
Yeah, it's very like they're like direct strumming kind of thing, or like a bass like note, but it's kind of bouncy for bass. I don't know. And then I mean he's got like that old school voice. Left his home.
No, it was just 17. Just 17.
Yeah, exactly. There's your backup vocals.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's kind of the sound of it. And then the horns and stuff come in.
Yeah, the brass sting is like the next kind of big moment. We slowly build. Piano comes in for the second verse. But yeah, it's the chorus on this that's the real juice of this. And I do think they knock out the chorus.
They indeed knock out the chorus.
Like, yeah, the brass hits nice. He's doing a big, like, you could tell me it was Richard Cheese doing this, and I'd believe it. And Richard Cheese is, I think, maybe a more polished version of just what this is. He's got a few more tricks up his sleeve, but
it's more like, I guess, developed. Like he's been doing it for a long time.
Yeah.
And trumpet solo. Solo's on trumpet. Like that trumpet solo sound. Is this the one that's like kind of muted? They kind of do the womp womp thing.
Womp womp. That would be this for sure.
Yeah, so it's old school. It's a novelty, sure, but like it's a fun novelty.
And like I think the lyrics, especially that chorus, work well with this style of singer. It's a real like.
Why would you say that?
It kind of clicks with. I can't even think of another example per se, but. Just the way it's presented, it's like, yeah, I can see fucking some crooner telling young hearts to be free tonight.
Hearts. Yeah, it does sound kind of old school in that way, like young hearts be free.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Yeah, it fits. It feels timeless, I think.
Yeah.
The phrase. And it's easy to forget, but like those old, big band these singers of this era were seen as rebellious people, right?
Right, they were young Turks themselves.
Exactly. Even if now that's either been sanitized to some degree or just maybe surpassed in a way that makes it look trite.
Right.
Or, to our modern sensibilities. But they were, still rebellious.
Okay, yeah. So this is, even in that sense, where it's like a song for the youth. It's like all your kids are listening to swing, and your parents are like, don't go listening to Frank Sinatra. He's no good.
He's no good.
He's a bad fellow. Yeah. All right, that checks out.
Yeah.
So we get a fun little instrumental bridge. And then we hit verse 3.
And then we hit verse 3. What happens in verse 3? Similar to the other verses?
Yeah, but we get more brass in this now.
True. This one's definitely got a good build throughout, and then you get those like ba-da-ba-da, ba-da-ba-da. Really get those big riffs.
Yeah.
With the brass section.
Da-na-na-na. Yeah, so we got that big band energy carries us through. What happens at the bridge? Does he do the bridge? What is a bridge? We do get is it a trombone solo or something here?
I thought it was a trumpet solo, but
trumpet is probably a better choice.
There's some slidey stuff going on.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure 100%, but my guess is trumpet. He does do a bridge.
He does do a bridge, yeah.
Kind of. It is later on, because he slows down after verse 4.
Right. So he like technically does the bridge just before verse 4 because he does the 2 lines, but it's just sounds like the chorus.
Oh, he doesn't do it differently?
No,
and then his next one is slowed down.
Right, because the way he hits Baby Boy. Patty's got a brand new freaking 10-pound baby boy. And then it like slows down and they do a little like...
Yeah. Young
That's your tenderness, and what he uses that as a bridge to tenderness. Time is on your side.
Just do a couple lines and then they're back into it.
Yeah, and they jump back in. And you're saying that slowdown move is also something he did in The Best?
Similar. I mean, in that there's like a bridge / breakdown section / later chorus where they slow down. I didn't actually listen to it. I just read my notes.
Okay. Yeah.
So I don't remember exactly what it sounds like.
And then your classic big band finish, too. It was like... And then one fucking brass section goes... Yeah, it's pretty classic.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think a good energy on it, which the original has. It's got energy to it, and I think the chorus really shines on this.
Yeah, it moves.
Let's move on ourselves to Tony Halchak in 2016.
Young hearts be free tonight. Time is on your side. Don't put you down, don't let
Tony Halchak. All right, we are in... Actually, I'll read his own description of himself.
Sure, hit me with it.
If I may.
You may.
First, Tony Halchak, craft brewed Black Diamond Americana from West Michigan. Country. It's country. But it's Americana. It's
also
country.
Skiing?
Skiing?
Black Diamond?
Black Diamond? I'm pretty sure it's a cheese brand. Yeah, I don't know what it means by Black Diamond, actually.
Because it's hardcore, brother.
Like
I don't
the
fucking
cheese?
know. Like the cheese. Yeah, it's like the cheese. You can find it at most grocery stores.
Or that it's difficult to ski down?
Yes.
Yeah, I called it hipster country in my head.
Alt country is, I think, the term they would like
the
you
actual
to use,
term.
Alex.
Yeah, that makes more sense. Don't really call things hipster stuff anymore.
No.
Yeah, it's got that like electric country sound. There's an electric guitar playing electric riffs like most of the time. Kind of feels like it's just noodling a lot. There's a slide guitar
in the back,
doing the slides between lines. There's also like the chorus. Like in the chorus, there's like a guitar playing licks, or rather in the verse it's playing licks, and then in the chorus starts doing like some finger picking.
Yeah.
So like electric, twangy, slidey guitars.
Electric, twangy, slidey.
The other thing, now I kind of didn't mention this, but the last 2 versions have not had the same like driving beat of the original, and this sort of style of beat actually fits country music very well. So it's back.
Yes.
And it is in this song.
Yeah, on a sort of like distant drum kit there, but yeah, it is that like very simple rhythm. But
there's 2 things that are kind of weird, because I think it's a bit slower, even though it's shorter, and I wasn't 100% sure why. And they don't have the like like that the sequencer that the original has, that like bass line. So it has a little bit less of that momentum.
Right. Yeah, it is. It definitely has less momentum to it.
And
that's just country, I think, to an extent in general.
Just trying to feel a little more laid back, maybe. Yeah. I thought the sounds on this one were generally solid.
Yeah, I agree with that. I like the slide guitar tones. I think the lead guitar has a nice quality to it. Yeah, I think tonally it's pretty good.
Yeah. Trying to think of more things to say about this version.
We kind of run into a rut here for the next few where it is really like genre covers. I think this one is the best of those, though.
Yeah.
Because even like, again, like the same way that like swing music kind of fit the lyrical vibe, the country also kind of hits that too. Country being from the same primordial ooze that rock and roll stems from.
Honestly, like most of this, like But just talked about like, oh, these pop artists were considered rebellious, and it's like that's true of all of them.
Yeah,
forever. Like,
anybody
that's always been
with
true.
the
Any
audacity
genre.
to perform music.
Yeah,
that isn't fucking Bach. It's like, okay, this guy was seen as a bit of a rebel.
Yeah. Mozart had some song about like lick my asshole or something like that.
Oh,
Am I making that up?
That was tame back then, though.
Yeah. Back then, you could ask someone to lick your asshole. That was like saying hello. It's
they
just
played
weird
that in
now.
church. Yeah, it's just weird now. Even the guitar solo in this isn't bad. You get a nice little breakdown.
Yep, I like the new guitar solo. Feels appropriate. Yeah, breakdown. Same idea. You know, start of the chorus and then transitions into the verse. And man, what else? Oh yeah, they kind of do a thing where there's two choruses and like there's a breakdown bit, and then the next chorus also starts kind of slow. Not slow, but like, you know, broken down a bit,
right?
But not as slow. And then the drums kind of change. I don't know. I thought that was kind of neat. So you get like lots of like kicks. So the first time it's like very low down, very bassy, and then the second one you move up to like I think the hi-hat.
Yeah, is that right after the Patty gave birth to a 10-pound baby boy? 10-pound baby boy.
I think so. My timestamp is 3:16.
3:16. Okay, yeah, that's around that time. It's just before it, I think. Yeah. It's before it, and then we.
Okay.
Because he does a similar thing that Pieter Embrechts did, where he does a breakdown on the 10-pound baby boy line, and then we build up again.
But he breaks it down further, at least before that.
Yeah, he does.
And then you kind of bring that tick, 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 tick drums building back up.
Yeah. So I think I was ready to hate this based on his self-description. And then I think component-wise, it's pretty solid. Like, he does some good breakdowns there. The guitar noises are tight. His voice is good enough for what he's doing. He's doing kind of like a country talk singing thing. Like, it checks out, brother. Checks out.
Yeah, he keeps it more laid back. And it's slower, so it kind of fits.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's that one.
That's that one. We got to move to 2017 for our next genre cover, Moonlight Desires.
Dude, Moonlight Desires. '80s hits with Steel Town grit.
Now,
which I thought was an interesting description of themselves, because I thought, oh, Steel Town, they're from Pittsburgh.
But
no, they're from Hamilton, Ontario, which is also a steel-producing town that is sometimes called Steel Town. So, looking up Steel Town, there's a lot of places that produce steel and call themselves Steel
Town. Yeah, it's one of those names.
Yeah, so I think the idea is like Steel Town, it's like a working class.
Yeah, it's blue-collar hard rock is what they're going for here.
And that's what it is.
Yeah, really, this one is perhaps one of the most boring, I think, in terms of final result. I don't mind the idea of this being hard rock.
No, but it is a really straightforward, like, okay, yeah, now we're doing the, like, metal chugging hard rock stuff, and, like, we're going faster, they're going hard. I'd say it has, I mean, I can take the energy, you know?
Yeah.
It's hard not to get caught up in it at some points, but I agree, like, it's less interesting, certainly to me, than like Sexton Blake or even Tony Halchak.
Yeah, it's just like it hugs so tight to the original that once you're familiar with the original and you kind of hear what these guys are doing, you're like, well, yeah, it's not much that you're changing here. You did the bare minimum.
They're kind of sliding it because it's still like it's a throwback, right? Because like the '80s hits, but also their style's kind of like later, like more in the like hair metal kind of vein.
So it's more of a sidestep than it is like an era switch.
Yeah, so it's like not so far removed, but maybe a few years down the road.
Yeah. And the thing is, with those tones, even like the lead guitar, which does like that ba-na-na-na-na on the bridge between chorus and verse, kind of just sounds like the synth. Like, it's not far removed at all.
Yeah, not really. And other than that, yeah, like big kicks, big guitar, kicks. Big riffs, lots of distortion.
Yeah, the vocals aren't exciting either. You could get some exciting hard rock vocals on this, and they don't hit that either. He's not he's fine for the genre, but he's not a standout by any means.
You're right. The vocals weren't super what I did think was this one would be good for just like shouting along to, because he's kind of shouting, and like if you were in an audience situation, you could have a group shouting along. I think that's what it would probably work best.
Yeah, what these past two covers we've talked about have done, at least at some parts, is really work those breakdowns in to great effect, I think, where you pull away everything. So why not have this for the chorus, where we do like a heavy drum beat, pull away this wall of guitar chugging, and have it be kind of like that bar sing-along vibe we know and love.
Yeah, no, you're right. That would have I think elevated this version, is having that, like having a real shout along breakdown chorus. I think that would have been really excellent in this version.
Mm-hmm. It's just I think there's so much you can do with hard rock besides just bang out a chug and call it a day, and I don't think they give us any of that here.
Yeah, it's not a very exciting version. I agree.
No.
It's intense.
It's intense, sure, yeah. They keep up the energy for sure.
Or I already said it's hard not to get caught up in the excitement.
Yeah.
So there's excitement, but I ultimately, to what end?
And if I heard it live, I'd probably like it. But
yeah, you probably.
Let's talk about another genre cover that has at least one redeeming feature, and that is Rude Boy George in 2020.
Rude Boy George. I actually thought this one was pretty interesting.
Okay, I thought one part of this was good and the rest was about the same level as the last guys here.
Rude Boy George, first of all, the name, it's a reference to two things.
Boy George.
That have boy
and rude boys.
in them. Rude Boy and Boy George. So they do ska covers of 80s new wave songs. So similar thing where they do like 80s stuff in a different style.
Yeah, and in ska. And I'll admit that ska, although it is timeless, is more of a shift than just shifting to hard rock on this. Now, Alex, my review is this. The fucking intro on this with the brass? Fuck yeah, dude. Fuck yeah.
I really like this on this brass. Like the way they made the brass very smooth.
Mm-hmm.
And it like matches up quite nicely with the synth sound, and it sounds cool.
It sounds great. The vocals on this though, everything after this, I don't know. It's fine to me. It's I liked what it did. Okay, so there's it kind of splits it up, right? Sure.
So there's like the chorus and the verses really have a distinct feel.
Mm-hmm.
And mostly I think it's just like the bass. Because they both have this like really fast muted guitar, and that sort of stands in for the
that rhythm, that drum rhythm.
The rhythm, well, from the original, the like bass line, the sequence.
Yeah.
So like, so you get the constant like muted guitar.
I hear that.
And then once you get into I think the chorus, that's when you're actually getting like the skank, right? I might have that backwards actually. No, the verse has it.
Verse has
and
skank,
the other thing,
yeah.
the other thing that happens is in the verse, the bass is in like halftime. So, but you still have that fast like muted guitar. So you get like the momentum from that, but you still change the momentum of the rest of the song. So you still have this like restless feeling.
Right.
And then just like in the verse, when the rest of the song is not going that speed, you have this like we gotta go feeling.
Right. So there's something pushing it forward while everything else, because like even that bass is like boom 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 boom. It's like very chilled out. Like
and then once you get to the chorus, the bass speeds up, and you feel like okay, we're now releasing all this tension, and we're moving because we gotta move. So this one I felt really created that imperative feeling of needing to move and then like moving.
Right.
That's what I liked about this version.
Okay, there's some fair points there. My next point would be the mix, because you've talked about two key rhythm elements here that you can definitely hear, and something I've had it playing as we're talking. The synth, which is present, is so far back in the mix, it might as well be played 2 studios over. Like it's.
Yeah, I'm like, what's it?
Exactly. It's there. It's like this most fucking like ethereal fucking.
Yeah, honestly, I don't even think I noticed that. I'm like, yeah, horns. We get the good stuff, and like I like the rhythmic stuff. There's some organ and some piano playing along with that skank, and I'm like, yes, good sounds. Put them all together. I have no idea what you're talking about when you say synth.
It's there. It's so far, but you can't. Can you like go to about a minute?
Okay, I'm going to a minute. Okay, is that the like spacey kind of?
Yeah, it's doing the same synth riff. It's that but it's so far back.
Okay, yeah, it's definitely like you can't hear that hardly.
And so I think you are right to notice this kind of like subtle shift of how the rhythm makes the chorus come out, but we're lacking for the big elements that tell us the chorus is happening. Like, because that synth is neutered completely, and there's no brass. The brass was so good at the start. Why is it not in the chorus?
True. It would be a good place for it, because that's the riff it's playing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's missing. So that's not the best.
That's not the best.
I do like the rhythmic thing I described.
I'll give you that.
I also like the solo.
Yeah, it's more of a duet, isn't it? Because there's like two guitars, but the solo was pretty good.
And then a little more organ on there too.
Yeah,
but I did like that part.
Yeah, because you get that organ for Skank. Yeah, it's not bad there. And we do like a spoken word kind of chorus. I didn't like the singers. I didn't like the trade-off element. I didn't think that added anything.
You know, I kind of did.
You kind of did? Okay, tell me
the duet. Only the song's about, a young man and a young woman.
Yeah.
So it doesn't go beyond that. But I was like, yeah, that makes sense.
It's fair. You can like it. It's just like I didn't like the vocals overall. I didn't think either of them was particularly a spectacular singer.
Yeah, and we've had that with ska versions before. It's kind of I don't know if it's just the style of singing is maybe doesn't always lend itself to that unless it's like ska punk.
Right, where it's there's a little more room to be rough around the edges.
Yeah, so I don't know where that comes from, but that does seem to happen sometimes.
Yeah.
But no, you're right. It's not like it have a little more punch. I don't know if it just needs like some compression on the vocals or what.
Yeah, I don't know what they need. I don't like because they do kind of their own version of the ad lib stuff at the end, and the dude goes, "Young hearts be free," and I wasn't keen on that either.
Young hearts be free. It sure does. Do
it
that.
Leans just a little too close towards like a cappella levels of singing for me, which is like not high praise, unfortunately.
No, I suppose not.
But I'll give you the brass, I'll give you the guitar solo, and the things you said about rhythm have convinced me slightly, but...
Yeah, I liked those parts.
The rest of this I'm not too keen on.
I mean, it's a range, for sure. Yeah, not all the parts are amazing.
Are amazing. Another one with some pretty good parts, in my opinion, is 2022's Misty Miller.
Misty Miller. Yeah, this is one that's from a movie.
Yeah, I've never heard of this film. It's a like prime original.
Yeah. Catherine Called Birdie.
Catherine Called Birdie.
It's a movie from last year.
Wow. So yeah, this is hot off the press.
Book. Starring Bella Ramsey. She was in Game of Thrones. She's Ellie in The Last of Us.
Oh, okay. She's getting around.
Not movie, series. She plays one of the anyway.
She's like a street urchin or something in Game of Thrones.
No, in Game of Thrones she's I'm trying to remember, like a Mormont or something like that.
Okay, yeah.
It probably says on her Wikipedia page.
Probably. Okay, so this is a medieval comedy
Lyanna
film. Mormont. Good for her.
I didn't watch all of it. I only saw until like she comes in like at the end of a season. Apparently she has a bigger role in the next season, but
hey, good for her.
Haven't watched that season.
Yeah, I never finished the old GOT.
So, I think the last time I watched it was probably with you.
Yeah,
so.
That's definitely the last time I watched it was with you. So
yeah, which was either season 5 or season 6. I don't remember.
Probably season 5.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I was surprised that Misty Miller debuted in 2011 at the age of 16 with her first album, then became disillusioned with the music industry by 2016.
That's fast, yeah.
That's quick.
Yeah.
And so she's kind of like indie revivaled herself, where she's like, well, I'm not doing this for the industry anymore. I'm doing it for me.
Doing it for Amazon.
I'm doing it for Amazon. I guess, yeah, she's maybe flipped again. Fucking.
I don't know. I guess, I mean, you gotta ply your trade. Does that?
Yeah,
you gotta make money off of the things you do. Is that?
You gotta make that paper, brother.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta eat, right?
Yeah, you gotta eat when you can. So we open with slow strings and then we double them. This is like this is Young Turks by way of like alt orchestra, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, the movie's set in the 13th century, so it's almost like faux period music.
Yeah, I could see
like,
that.
That's
a bit.
not what, I mean, we know it didn't sound like that back then, but it's kind of like, oh, it's just some strings, and maybe they had something like that. You don't know.
Yeah, because there's
They
too many
didn't,
like
but you don't know.
modern leanings on this for it to be fully.
And then it gets very modern later on. Yeah.
Yeah, we get like a sort
particularly
of like,
the beat.
Yeah,
is very modern.
And this use of like a harpy kind of synth at the beginning, not harpy like the wild beast, but like a harp like
like a harp. Yeah.
This bum, 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 bum,
yeah, which kind of has that
dum, dum, dum.
old school sound to it, and you're like, yeah, I could believe they're playing a harp or something like a harp.
Yeah.
In the 13th century.
So you're right, we pull the rug out of this period piece concept pretty quick with that drum rhythm, I think.
Absolutely.
But I did like elements of this because it's kind of like early Florence and the Machine stuff where you get more harp and things of that nature in there.
After I listened to this, Spotify was like, you should listen to this song. It's Florence and the Machine.
It's Florence and the
Machine.
Machine.
I was like, I don't see the connection. But no, I see it now.
You see it now. Yeah. This is like the first Florence and the Machine album kind of vibes. I think it's the first one anyway, Between Two Lungs. Is that the name of the album? Am I smart? I don't know.
I don't know, man.
I was smart enough to know today that one of the first names of one of the Hobbit's actors was Billy. I don't know his last name, but...
Corgan, no.
Oh, it's just called Lungs. Yeah, Billy Corgan, one of the Hobbits.
Yeah, Billy, yeah. I sometimes know their names.
I know the Hobbit. I know Sean Astin and Elijah Wood, of course.
Sean Astin and Elijah Wood, of course. And then the other two who I always...
So yeah, we get these like... dragging us, kicking and screaming back to the song... We get a fairly standard pop vocal performance, a little bit like a little bit of that detachment. It's very like soft delivery.
Yes,
very
soft.
close microphone, but soft.
And kind of generally, we mentioned the strings. It's those strings. There's some harp, and then also like a beat, like more electronic, or
kinda,
like produced.
Yeah,
beat.
bassy produced drums, like and then a bit of tambourine as well,
and some more like strings. At one point, the strings kind of made me think of RuneScape.
That's good vibes.
Yeah, so timestamp on that, 212.
212. Let me see there.
Bum, bum. It's actually pizzicato strings.
Okay.
Made me think of the old
Pizza Cat strings.
RuneScape.
Oh yeah, boom,
loading
boom, boom,
screen.
Boom. Dun, 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 dun. So yeah, I think instrumentally I liked the use of the instruments. The dumb sentence, but
I hope that's what you liked about the instrumentation.
Yeah,
is the instruments.
I think in terms of capturing the intensity of the original, or that like presence, that immediacy of the original, we're far gone from that. In terms of
it feels much more modern as well. Obviously, it's weird. It feels modern, even though there's some things that seem like they're trying to be a really far throwback, but like not really.
Yeah.
But I think you have a good like touch point there of Florence and the Machine, because I think that makes sense.
Yeah, so you're right. Like in terms of like
in her style,
because the production style is so modern that like we've just talked for the past 2 weeks about 90s songs with orchestras behind them.
We sure have.
This sounds fresher than those. Like it doesn't sound like it's from the 90s. It sounds
it's a different. It doesn't. I mean, it's from a movie, but it doesn't sound like that. More generic, I would say, movie soundtrack orchestra.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's hitting on different than the standard like slow it down, heavy bass, and then echoed lines kind of style. So I did appreciate that about this, is that it's not the classic like cinema trailer.
Yeah, and then she's just got like a million overdubs of her own voice.
Yeah, I liked some people's
cool.
Outros. Like I didn't like the one we just talked about.
RBG.
Rude
Boy George.
Yeah, Rude Boy George. But I did like her like overdubs here, which is like be free, and she's doing her own like kind of call and response stuff. I thought it was good.
Yeah, as she's got her like kind of spacey thing going on.
Yeah. So this one's got bigness behind it. It's got some pretty good production techniques. I don't think it hits the heart quite as well as some other versions have, but I also think it's pretty good.
Yeah.
I do also think it's time for our final verdicts.
Oh, it sure is.
We got 3 categories today: the worst version, the best version, and the version most likely to overthrow the monarchy.
Oh,
This is just in time for, at least for us, for King Charles' coronation. But
yeah, I don't actually know. Like, is that ongoing? Is there a day where he's coronated?
I think it's
or is
done.
It's happened?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it was yesterday. I watched 2 minutes of it today.
Okay. I haven't been up
Had to
on
confirm it was the real guy.
international news. Is that him? Is that Chuck?
Is that Chuck? I had to keep my eyes on. Alex, are you rolling dice over there? What's happening?
No, I'm just trying to straighten something out and I keep dropping it.
Oh, okay. All right.
I'm like trying to grab something, but it's kind of stuck underneath something.
Mm.
I got it. It's fine.
That's a tough situation to be in. Alex, what's the worst version of this?
Worst version of this? It's Moonlight Desires.
Yeah.
They're the least entertaining. But they did have something going on, but I feel like, as we discussed, maybe didn't quite bring it to where they could have.
Yeah.
Compared to the other
agree.
ones, which even did similar things in terms of, just genre transition.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like, it comes down to it. The 2 worst ones for me are Moonlight Desires or Rude Boy George. But that brass on Rude Boy George can carry it. Could, in theory, carry it to first place, if not for the other parts of the song being just that bad. But, like, Moonlight Desires, is, I think, just the most forgettable. I'd still listen to him live, though, and probably love it. But here, not so good. Alex, best version.
Best version. Honestly, I really liked what Rude Boy George did with it.
You're fucked.
I agree, not all the parts were amazing, but to me, that like rhythmic stuff, that was enough. That was, to me, just like a really good idea. I like how that worked with the song. I like the way it created tension, and then the way it release that tension, and it seemed like so simple to me, but I was like, of course. Like, it was a moment of like, I wish I had thought of that kind of thing.
Right. I feel like I kind of felt it when I listened to the song, and I immediately was like, this is not enough. So we went down 2 different roads.
Yeah, fair enough. But it did it for me, and it was my favorite version this week.
Well, fuck yeah, good for you. I'm a toss up between Sexton Blake and probably Pieter Embrechts and the new Radio Kings.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I'll probably throw it to Sexton Blake because just his big burnout vibes is my vibes. So.
Sexton Blake was a cool one. It had some real good sounds on it.
Yeah, and just where I was like, oh, okay, I've got it. It was like, what about this fucked up Mellotron thing? I was like, all right, I'm back in.
There we go.
So yeah, good shit from Sexton Blake. Alex, overthrowing the monarchy of your choice. That could be the Ottoman Empire. It could be King Chuck.
Could be King Chuck. Could be
King Arthur.
I don't know.
Other famous kings. It could be the new Radio Kings.
Could be the new Radio Kings. Could be the House of Orange.
Yes.
The Dutch monarchs.
Oh, right. Oranda, the land of oranges.
Which one is going to overthrow that monarchy? I mean, I feel like the ones the most likely to get this done are the Moonlight Desires guys. I feel like if you need some guys for a revolution, like
Blue Collar, you're doing the Armageddon approach.
Those are the guys you want on your side,
right?
For sure.
Along with time.
Time, yeah. And yeah, I feel like they've also got other friends they could invite.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I love how
that's them for me.
You're figuring this all out where I'm picturing you like, because I can hear you scraping for that fucking thing or whatever. So you're just like trying to reach through a small like crack in a cave here. It's very cinematic in my brain, and you're like, yeah, you should give it to, come on, quickly, give it to Moonlight Desires. You know, blue collar workers have been the backbone of many revolutions, and
fuck, shit,
damn it. Moonlight Desires, good choice, Alex. My thoughts here, and I'm gonna do a little explaining. Pieter Embrechts and the new Radio Kings. Now, what you're saying, I know what you're thinking. You're like, you can't just put new kings on the throne. But Pieter Embrechts is the leader of these kings. So I imagine he's gone from monarchy to monarchy, torn them asunder, and then recruited these kings into his band.
So he's already taken down a few monarchies.
Yeah, I think
he's become the king of kings.
The weight behind him, and the monarchy's a little out of touch, so like even the powers of swing music
just a little
are going to be a little too like hot and fresh for him. It's been like, my lord, this isn't Mozart's song about licking assholes. I'm frightened and scared.
It's something normal, like a licking assholes song.
Please, play a song about eating anus. It's like, okay. Rich people. Fucking monarchs. So yeah, I think they got and big bands require large groups of people. So like he's gonna have the numbers. He's got the philosophy behind it. You know, he's been taking down kings for a while now. He's gonna do it. He's gonna make it right. He's gonna do right by the people. And if he doesn't, Moonlight Desires is gonna be there right behind him. That does it for our opinions. You got a similar opinion, different opinion. Want to talk about a version we didn't talk about? Hit us up on Twitter, #CoverMePod, @JakeTheCressy, @SomeAlexWiseGuy. Send us your comments, questions, concerns, suggestions for future episodes. You can also email those to us at covermepod@gmail.com. Talk to us there. Be sure to rate, review us. We're kind of on Spotify. We're on Stitcher. We're on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, your favorite podcasting app. What else do I have to say about this? You tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your loved ones, tell your enemies. Get a QR code tattoo that leads to our RSS feed or whatever, leads to our Podbean account. Get that somewhere visible, like on the back of your hand, and just get people to QR code you. Get out there. You're the Cover Me Street team. Make it happen. That does it.
Team.
The street team. That's right. That's how you get them. You just got to find the right term they want to be called by. That does it for today's episode, though. And as we always say on Cover Me, happiness was found in Cover Me as expected.